Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're making a character interest tier list for Street Fighter 6. Man, I cannot express how happy I am to have this game. I grew up playing Super Street Fighter 2 on my family's Super Nintendo. One controller had a broken button and the other didn't work at all. No motion inputs or playing against other people for me. Bought Street Fighter 5 on a whim one day. That was a mistake. Living in the middle of nowhere means a bad online experience, and there was no arcade mode to have fun with on my own. Now, for the first time in 20 years, I get to have the full Street Fighter experience. Arcade mode on launch, rollback so I can actually play other people, and create a character story mode. So let's hurry up and go through the characters so I can get back to playing. Luke. He's pretty cool, gives off supportive gym bro energy. He definitely feels like he was made with new players in mind. One of his target combos is just mashing medium punch, and most of his EX moves has a follow-up to get a bit of extra damage in. All of his punches move him forward a bit, so his range is pretty good. Not really my kind of character, but I like what they did with him. Jamie. I used him in each of the beta tests, so I'm already pretty adept with him. I love the mix of concepts for some of the newcomers. Breakdancing plus drunken boxing is a pretty clever combination, and the level 3 throws in some kung fu movie aesthetics. It's a bit rough to get started with him, but once you get that first drink, you can make good use of that dive kick to get in. Then the second drink gives your overhead a drink follow-up, and you can kinda start snowballing to level 4. He's a lot of fun. Manon. Fighting against her is one big guessing game, pulling opponents in, grounding them from a jump, all to get a command grab and increase her metal level. Every time you guess wrong, she gets stronger. I think the most devious mix-up she has is the one with her overhead. One of her target combos has an overhead specifically on the second hit. Once you hit with that a few times, they'll start to focus more on standing to block the second hit, and that's when you just drop the second hit in favor of doing the grab. Luckily, if she does the big one, she can't immediately put you back in the vortex. Can't say the same for her hit grab though. This is some messed up stuff, but I like it. Kimberly. This was a weird one for me. Didn't like the shirt back when I first saw it, because I thought it looked too puffy. Then I saw it in game for the first time and it didn't look as bad as I thought. Wasn't that interested in her moveset, because, oh, it's just typical ninja moves. But then I liked her spin kick because it had good horizontal reach for an anti-air, and her level 2 for the sick impact frame. So in the end, I like the character more, but her gameplay doesn't appeal much to me at all. Marissa. I was immediately sold on this character. I love how brutal her fighting style is. It's just pure raw power with every hit. Her crouching heavy punch straight up launches the opponent. She's got a plethora of charge up moves so she can mix up her timing. A good bit of her attacks have armor, most notably her guard stance, which she can use an overhead, a low, or a grab out of. She even has an anti-air special, which I wasn't really expecting since she already has a good anti-air normal and a ridiculous amount of armor. I like characters I can be belligerent with, and that seems to be Marissa's whole game plan. I like the gladiator motif, even the helmet-shaped hair. Lily. I thought I would like this character more. They're basically a fusion of T-Hawk and Talon from Soul Calibur. Both of those were childhood favorites of mine, but I'm just not feeling it with her. Maybe it's because she's a bit more childish than those two. She just doesn't feel as cool to use. JP, a villain character that actually has a strong presence. He's stoic and menacing, he beats you up with a cane. The shadowy crystal spikes look awesome. The portals are surprisingly versatile. If you opt not to teleport, it'll automatically fire a spike after some time. Using EX portals basically gives a free mix-up opportunity, because you can teleport to one and have the spike from the other start a combo. His level 3 teleports him in front of the opponent, so you can't really throw out projectiles too carelessly. He can react to whatever you do and just deal out heavy damage. Thankfully, even though it looks like a grab, it isn't. So, if he's a little late, you can just block it. I've never liked a distance fighter this much before. Juri. Her game plan is Fuha stocks and lots of combos. The stocks let her cancel her forward kick specials into each other, letting her do more damage in her combos, though I mostly just see Juri players use it to do the projectile, which is pretty good. It's low to the ground so it can't be cancelled out with other projectiles. It's slow so you can approach behind it. The opponent blocks, you can start your pressure, and if they jump you can anti-air. Then there's her Feng Shui engine, an install that lets her combo normals into normals. This is some mashed crimson stuff here. I'm still not comfortable with Sansculot type combos, so it's not a big plus for me. But with the creative character being able to mix movesets, I do wonder how well the super works with other fighting styles. DJ. I'm so glad he's back. He was one of my favorites in Street Fighter 2. His personality is great. Man is just here to have a fun time. This game gave him a bunch of cool new stuff, namely feints, in just about every single one of his specials, and even one of his target combos. They also gave him a deadly rave. Gets better if you time your hits right, and I'm normally good at rhythm stuff, but this move I can't figure out when I'm supposed to hit the buttons. Now, normally I don't like charge characters, especially in Street Fighter where the charge time is noticeably slower than other games, but DJ has enough non-charge stuff that I really want to try playing him. Cammy. She feels quick, her new design is great, and she's got the assassination move she pulled in that one movie. That's a really great callback. It also juggles airborne opponents, so it can be used to continue combos or end them. Her level 3 basically has her turn to a bullet. It's like the opponent's getting dramatically gunned down. A simple but solid character. Ryu. He's not just a basic, boring old Shoto in this one. The engine charge powers up his attacks, useful for projectile war since it makes Hadouken go through other projectiles. It also makes his new close range ki blast launch the opponent. Another new thing for Ryu, wall bounce combos. The big kick sends opponents across the screen and back. Very easy to combo off of. E-Honda. Mash inputs were always annoying to do on controllers, so I'm glad those are gone. He doesn't stand out much to me, but I love his level 3. The Sumo Ring of Fire is an awesome visual, and the Critical Art version has some good meme potential. Blanca. 3D Blanca always looked weird to me. Over time I grew to accept that a big green guy who was raised in the wild just wouldn't work outside of 2D. Then this game came along and didn't help that at all. I wasn't a fan of the overalls, but then they showed the costume trailer and his second outfit is pretty much exactly how I wanted him to look. Now with my design complaints put down for good, let's talk about his gameplay. This time Blanca has freaking bombs. He can shock the Blanca-chan dolls to have them march toward the opponent and explode. And his shock is a quarter circle back move so he can easily start charging after he sends them off. It's a bizarre but fun development for the character. Guile. He looks good with facial hair. I'm referring to the eyebrows, of course. Still barely there, but you can see them. Other than that, same old Guile with Flash Kick and Sonic Boom. Unlike the other charge characters, he only has one non-charge move, so you can't really avoid using them in combos. Sonic Boom actually has a perfect timing mechanic. It makes him move faster and hit harder. Weirdly enough, you'll have a more difficult time getting the normal Sonic Boom, since you have to intentionally delay your button press. Ken. Fugitive Ken is not something I ever thought I'd see, yet another redesign I absolutely love. Dude's fighting angry and you can really feel it, mostly because of his critical art. Doing specials out of his command run powers them up. Taito, for example, does a bunch of hits and keeps the opponent close. I had a tough time dealing with his Jinrai kicks back in the first beta. I kept getting hit by the low because I didn't know what to do after whether I blocked it or not. Chun-Li. Now that I had the time to sit down and see what she has, I actually kind of like her. Her lightning kicks aren't a mash input anymore, so I can use that for light confirms. She's got a big overhead kick like Kim Kapuan, and I'm not sure if this is something she used to have, but she got anti-air kicks too. I'm not sure how much her stance is going to be used. The only moves from it that seem useful are the overhead, because going into that from a low profile seems like it could really trip people up, and the launcher for combos. Zangief. So, guess who got over their aversion to 360 inputs? Turns out doing a standing SPD isn't too difficult. The timing is pretty generous. He has good reach on both his normals and his command grabs. Holy crap, this thing is scary. Something I appreciate, regardless of whether it's useful or not, the flying drop kick. It's very amusing to me. Dawson. You know a game's good when it has me considering a floaty character. Though to be fair, it's mostly because I want to see what I can do with long range drive rush cancels. Being able to cancel my jump into float or teleport definitely helps too. And that's our list. This one was honestly really difficult to get through. It was so easy to get distracted. I was constantly hopping over to combo trials, character guides, arcade mode, and online. I think that shows how great the game is though. So I'm gonna go back to playing it now. When I get back to the Training Arc series, I'm definitely gonna have fun when I play this forward. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing to see more stuff like this in the future. And remember to leave a like while you're at it. Hope you have a great day. Cue the outro.